Good afternoon. This is Sue Scheets from Stampin' with Sushi, and I am here for my Technique Tuesday. And today I'm going to show you how to take the stamp set called Buffalo Check and stamp it and then turn it into a plaid. So let's begin. All right, I just switched my camera. So this is what the stamp set looks like, and I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of really cool cards made with it, some of which look like a plaid. So I thought, I got to figure this out. So I just kept the stamp right here in the case it came in. And the first tip I have is how to ink it up. When you're going to ink up this stamp set, you should definitely ink it up this way, where the stamp is down and the patterned part or the design part is facing up. And then you're going to take your ink pad and just stamp it all over. Until it looks like you've got it inked the way you want it. And then you'll take your piece of paper and actually lay it right on top of the inked part of your stamp and place some kind of a scrap paper on top and rub it. And this is a good way to make sure that the ink is thoroughly on your cardstock. All right, so let's see what I've got here. So there it is. Now I did make this a little bit bigger than what I'm going to use on my card because I want it to have plenty of room for error. All right. So this is what the Buffalo Check looks like. I don't know how that red got on there when you stamp it. And it looks really good as a check. But you can even make it more interesting by turning it into a plaid. So I'm going to start out with another green. And this is garden green. And a ruler. These are the two essential things you need if you're going to do this. And I am going to put this scrap paper back on my designer paper. So what I'm going to do is place the ruler a little bit below the darkest stripe and make with the thickest end of my marker and make a line. I will do that on every single one of these. Leave a little bit of white, draw a line, a little bit of white, draw another line, do it all the way down. One more right here, and right here. So it's starting to look a little bit like a plaid, don't you think? Now I'm going to turn this 90 degrees and do the same thing on this other side. Go right behind the dark one and put a strip. Like I said, I inked the first thing up with Old Olive, and the second one I'm using Garden Green. And just making a line right underneath. The ruler helps me get this nice and straight. I could do it freehand, and that would give it a kind of a homespunny-like look, where it's not quite so exact. But it might be very crooked if I did it, so I like using the ruler. Okay, I've got my strips all done. Now what I'm going to do to make it even more interesting is I'm going to take cherry cobbler and I'm going to make a line in the white spaces. So I'm going to start, and I'm kind of using my 1/8 inch mark on my ruler and make a cherry cobbler line. And I don't think it matters as long as each time I do it, I'm doing it in the same place. See, now isn't this starting to look like a really cool plaid? All right, and I like that touch of red with the greens. Now you could choose just to do another green and have 3 different shades of green. Can't you see all the different color possibilities for this little technique? I used it on a card that I'm going to share with you at the end, and I actually made another one while I was testing my skill out, and I'll show you that in a minute. But now I flipped it 90 degrees, I'm going to do the same thing again. See how I now have a really gorgeous plaid. Now I'm picturing that this could be used on a Christmas card. Just because the background is so bright, you would just need one simple solid image, or maybe the Merry Christmas in a die cut in a bright color like the cherry cobbler. Wouldn't that be gorgeous on top of this background? But now you can see how I have turned that Buffalo Check stamp. Let me show you the box again. And this is a background stamp. How I've turned it now into a plaid. Now here's the one I did earlier with fall colors. I did the background with cherry cobbler, and then I did stripes with Cajun craze and pumpkin pie. And I'm picturing maybe early espresso, a nice fall leaf on there. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? And then here's the card that I actually made. I used Pool Party background and Pear Pizzazz for just one stripe. And then another cute little technique that I saw on the Stampin'Up demonstrator site, but I cut out my tree, and then I also cut out 2 more trees in early espresso. And when I put them underneath to pop up this tree, I just put them over a slight, like a 1/16 of an inch, and now it gives a shadow on there, and it gives a great contrast to the background. So I hope you'll try this technique, and if you do, on my blog or on the Stampin' with Sushi page, put a picture of the card you made with this background, and I'll send you one of my cards, or I'll send you a little surprise thank you gift in the mail. Thanks for watching, and come back next Tuesday for another Tuesday technique with sushi. Happy stamping!